Christine, how much does it hurt the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out?
It is devastating to the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out.
Now, I know a lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said, one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion. But
without Caitlin Clark on the court, the WNBA watches helplessly as their entire empire collapses and finds itself in a catastrophic financial freefall, demonstrating once more how little this league has learned about defending the one guy who brought them out of obscurity. This is the tale of a league that keeps shooting itself in the foot while their golden goose is hurt on the sidelines. They are losing millions of dollars every day as a result of their obstinate refusal to accept reality.
And the truth is the truth, and the data is there. And what we saw when Caitlin was out the last time, the 5 games that she missed earlier in the season, the WNBA's viewership dropped more than 50%. Not just the Fever, but the entire league.
Facts are becoming as uncommon as sold-out WNBA games sans Caitlin Clark in this era of staged drama and social media outrage. The stark reality of the league's reliance on a single player was made public when Clark was sidelined on May 24th due to a quad injury. We are witnessing a recurrence of what transpired now that she is sidelined once more due to a groin injury for an unknown period of time.
Quad injury jumped to her groin likely because of compensation. But the thing that you have to be careful of is if, say, you try to rush her back from this injury as well, then you're getting into this territory where a very serious injury can happen. That is what the Indiana Fever, that is what Caitlin need to avoid the best that they possibly can. So if it means that Caitlin is out for 3 weeks, if it means that she is out all the way through All-Star, then so be it.
Games involving the Indiana Fever experienced a 53% decline in nationally televised WNBA viewing, which fell from an average of 1.81 million people when Clark played to just 847,000 without her. This was a startling 55% decline. This is when the story becomes completely absurd, though. And when we say ludicrous, we mean inevitably disastrous for a league that doesn't want to grow from its mistakes.
Clark went down. The WNBA ratings have dropped over 55% across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlin Clark.
The league is Caitlin Clark. She is the WNBA, guys.
Sidelined with a left quad strain May 24th, national TV viewership has plunged since then 55%. Before the injury, the Fever, her team, were averaging 1.81 million viewers, almost 2 million. Since her injury, fewer than 850,000.
The WNBA was busy doing what they do best, doing little to safeguard their most valuable asset, while Caitlin Clark was busy doing what she does best, filling venues to capacity, setting records for television ratings, and making enormous cash. Because it seems that the best course of action is to allow opponents to attack a player who is solely responsible for 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity while lecturing everyone about basketball plays.
News is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA. At the end of this season, the WNBA will go into CBA negotiations. If negotiations go well, then every single player in the WNBA has a much better chance of making so much more in their next contract. And that's one thing when you start thinking about how many people stopped watching when Caitlin Clark got injured. A lot of people stopped watching because they are boycotting the WNBA. They don't want to give viewership to any other teams or any other players, whether they like other players on the team or not, because of how the media and the league itself has handled Caitlin Clark and how they have treated her fans.
The fact that this precise situation has happened previously is really fascinating. By fascinating, I mean extremely annoying. However, it appears that the league is unable to draw lessons from its own past. The WNBA has previously witnessed a decline in income and ratings following the injury of its top star. It's like witnessing someone touch a hot stove, get burnt, and then reach for it again right away, saying they had no idea what would happen.
Now, what's really concerning about this is the fact that we are only a month into the regular season, and Caitlin Clark has already been out with 2 injuries. With the first one being her having to miss some time with a left quad strain. Now, of course, this is concerning because if you're already on your second injury, you don't want to be that player that is always hurt. Cough, cough, Embiid, cough, cough, Anthony Davis. So I really do hope that the Fever really sits her out right now for a while, only because you don't want her to have more long-term injuries and be more prone to.
Please subscribe if you're having fun. The financial destruction has been quick and brutal. Fever game ticket prices have fallen by 71%, with some going from $860 to just $250. The average cost of tickets for all of Clark's missed games dropped from $1,370 to $80, a startling drop that reveals a lot about the people who genuinely generate interest in this league. Due to the high demand for Clark tickets, road games that had been relocated to larger arenas are now finding it difficult to fill spaces that would have been completely filled with her presence. Tickets for one of the season's most anticipated games, the Chicago Sky vs. Fever rematch, fell from $210 to $95. One of the most watched WNBA games in history, this duel previously attracted 2.25 million people. However, without Clark, it's just another game that casual viewers don't want to watch.
Man, bruh. Congratulations to the WNBA. Your ratings are going to drop by 55 to 60% once again. I believe the WNBA have successfully broken Caitlin Clark.
One of the most outspoken critics of the WNBA's treatment of its star player is seasoned sports writer Christine Brennan, whose next book, On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports, promises to reveal the league's shortcomings. Following yet another instance in which opponents targeted Clark, Brennan stated, the WNBA continues to fail to meet the moment. More people than ever before are watching, and this is what they observe. Brennan's critique gets right to the core of the issue. According to figures provided by the league, Clark alone attracts over half of the league's TV viewers. However, they still let her get cheap shots and hard fouls that are only meant to scare their biggest draw. It's similar to witnessing a restaurant owner permit patrons to intimidate the chef, whose cuisine is the sole draw for patrons.
As big a deal as Tiger was in men's golf, Keith, he did, and when he was gone, it affected the ratings, but nothing like that. And, Michael Jordan being out, maybe a 5 percentage points or something. Nothing like this. You can make a strong case, and I will make that case, and have that there is no one single athlete more important to his or her sport or tour or whatever the circuit is that they play on than Caitlin Clark is to the WNBA.
The pattern is now as annoying as it is predictable. Opponents who appear to be more focused in making comments than playing basketball give Clark heavy fouls. 5 of the 30 egregious fouls issued by the league in 2024 were directed against Clark, with the Chicago Sky accounting for 80% of these infractions. She is chastised for being overly combative when she reacts to the physical activity. She is chastised for being weak when she remains silent. The league has created a no-win situation and won't deal with it. In the meantime, the Fever and the entire WNBA environment are being severely damaged financially. This year, the league was already expected to lose $50 million. Without Clark on the court, those losses are growing at a startling rate as television ratings plummet, item sales lag, and attendance counts revert to pre-Clark levels, despite the Clark-driven spike in popularity.
I don't even know where to begin, man. I hope Caitlin Clark is okay. I want to know when this injury even happened, bro, because let's be serious here. She has the quad injury. Mind you, Caitlin Clark hadn't missed a game since she was like 19 years old, since she was like 18 in college or something. Now she has a groin injury. We've never seen Caitlin Clark play as bad as she played the last 3 games. Let's just be serious here. She's like 1 for 20-something on threes in the last 3. We've never seen her shoot the ball this way. I'll say that. Has she been hurt and playing through this?
The most damning thing about this whole issue is that it was entirely avoidable. When Clark first entered the game, she was a modest rookie who constantly complimented her colleagues while drawing attention away from herself. For someone who is just 22 years old, she responded to criticism with incredible poise and maturity. The league had the opportunity to support her, shield her, and leverage her fame to improve the sport as a whole. Rather, they let petty politics and jealousy ruin what ought to have been a celebration of women's basketball. The consequences of the Clark's injury go well beyond ticket sales and TV ratings. Now, corporate sponsors who made millions of dollars worth of investments based on the Clark-driven growth are wondering if their choices were prudent. This circumstance highlights a basic issue with the WNBA's self-positioning. The league appears to be torn between wanting to embrace every bit of manufactured drama that could spark social media engagement and wanting to be regarded seriously as a professional basketball business. It is not possible to have it both ways. Professional leagues uphold the integrity of competition while safeguarding their stars. Drama clubs in high school create controversy in the hopes that someone would take notice.
The thing I admire about Caitlin, she's a warrior. She's tough. You hear me? Bruh, you just don't see players, you don't see female basketball players like her. I'm sorry. I done seen a lot of female basketball players, like I said.
It is unsightly and stark when compared to other professional sports leagues. Can you picture the NBA permitting players to pursue LeBron James with dirty moves for months while maintaining that the sport was merely competitive? Before you could say flagrant foul, the league would put an end to that right away and impose suspensions. However, the WNBA appears to be more than happy to allow this harmful trend to persist, apparently thinking that any attention is beneficial. Fans are refusing to watch other WNBA games because they have lost faith in the sport's competitive integrity as a result of the league's inability to safeguard Clark. You have a major credibility issue that extends well beyond income and ratings when your own supporters say they won't watch games without your biggest star because they don't think the games will be fairly officiated.
To clean up, I believe the physicality and all this hacking and fouling that goes on, she getting blindsided by Marina Mabry. I think all of this stuff is having a wear and tear and an impact. And all you guys are doing are hurting yourselves because the numbers are going to drop and drop and drop. And trust me, when it's time for that collective bargaining agreement, they are going to point to this and say, well, how can we give you guys all this money? What happens if she gets hurt?
The WNBA has had numerous chances to change their direction, but they have consistently failed, which exacerbates the situation. Every incident involving Clark ought to have served as a reminder to the league to set clear guidelines about player safety and fair competition. Rather, the same cliched reactions regarding basketball plays and letting the players play have been applied to every event. Ironically, Clark's injury, the exact thing the league ought to have been trying to avoid, has offered the most convincing proof of her worth to the team. The viewership decline of 55% is not insignificant. However, despite this overwhelming evidence, the WNBA doesn't seem to have learned its lesson. As if hard fouls and dirty plays are somehow vital to the game, league officials keep saying things like allowing players to be rough and maintaining a competitive balance. They continue to overlook actual risky plays made against Clark while treating routine basketball plays involving her as serious incidents.
Every day because of the way they play the game, because I love the WNBA. I love the way they play the game. But we really watching because Caitlin Clark and everybody watching. Now listen, if I keep bumping her, knocking her down, might get her a concussion, you might hurt her for real. For 2 weeks, she was done with like a hamstring. She was down. 55% of the viewership was down. She comes back the next game, it's about 3 million viewers. Now let me tell you something. Growing up in the hood, they teach you this. Always protect the money. Y'all keep hurting her and all that. She going for a year or two. Ain't nobody gonna watch it. If nobody watches, how y'all gonna make and generate money?
The WNBA must make some difficult choices about the type of league they want to be in order to resolve this dilemma, but the solution is straightforward. They must begin behaving like a professional basketball organization if they hope to be regarded as such. They must set precise rules regarding player protection and constantly implement them. The real basketball being played must no longer be overshadowed by artificial controversy. Above all, they must acknowledge that their biggest stars, particularly those who genuinely fill arenas and boost TV viewership, should be shielded from the Kin 000D of trolling and targeting that just creates drama on social media. The continuous decline in revenue, attendance, and viewership without Clark is a sobering reminder of what the WNBA was prior to her arrival and what it will become once more if they don't alter their strategy. Without Clark, the league's average viewership this season was only 555,000, far down than the 670,000 average from the previous year. These figures signify a return to the pre-Clark age of deserted stadia and pointless games that only die-hard fans bothered to watch.
What I saw walk into the game is what the media don't see. Thousands of kids.
Wearing what, Gil?
Kids. Huh?
What were they
Caitlin
wearing?
Clark jerseys.
Were they Fever jerseys? Were they Iowa jerseys? Were they
Wherever she played. It was whatever she played.
And that's what was more impressive to me.
It did that. It wasn't just. It was Caitlin in the back.
For her style of play.
But her style of play. But it was. It wasn't what we were. It wasn't adults. Right. It was parents bringing their kids and their friends. Mm-hmm. Them seats was kids filled.
Right.
And that's what they don't understand. They don't grasp that part of it.
The fact that this whole thing didn't have to go this way is the most awful part of it all. The WNBA might have leveraged Clark's popularity to create a solid basis for long-term growth if they had properly protected and promoted their top player. Rather, they've built a house of cards that falls apart as soon as their greatest draw leaves the court. The WNBA will continue to go through these boom and bust cycles, where the presence or absence of a single player dictates whether or not anyone bothers to pay attention, until they learn to protect and promote the players who genuinely generate interest in their league. The question is whether the WNBA will eventually learn to safeguard their golden goose, or if they will keep up this destructive trend until they have utterly wasted the chance that Clark's popularity has given them. The smart money isn't on the league suddenly being sensible, based on what we've seen thus far.